Yes, that's better. Okay, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Jazakallah for joining our last module, module 4. In this module, we will just cover the remaining rules or some facts about the Quran. Okay, there's a lot of knowledge. You don't really need to practice as much as what we done in module 1, 2, and 3. You have to learn 𝗃, you have to learn the full math letters and 𝗃 letters. In this module, it's more about understanding, taking in. Okay, you don't really need to memorize anything. Okay, is there any questions regarding the last 3 modules? Makhraj, full math letters, empty math letters, 𝗃, إظهار. Any question? And how is everyone's practice going with the Nun Sakin and Tanween rules? Is it okay? Going good?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, that's good. 𝗃, how is 𝗃? Brother Imran, how is 𝗃?
It's all
Can
right.
you see improvement?
Yeah, I've seen him too. Yeah, I've seen improvements. Yeah.
Okay. Brother Amin, what about yourself? 𝗃?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah. Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
The letters of 𝗃, 15 letters. If you can learn the letters, it's good. If not, whatever's not in izhar, idgham, and iqlab is in 𝗃. Yeah. Okay. It's 5 past. I don't think Brother 𝗃𝗂𝗀 is going to join, so let's just start. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. What we will do in this module is we will cover the main one, the stopping one, the stopping rules, where to stop, and if you stop, what's the ruling, where we can't stop, and what's all these small letters in between 2 words, ta, jim, and all that. We'll go over that inshallah, and we'll have a small assessment. Okay, the assessment is it's just to see how much you've improved when you first started, and what's the difference now. Yeah, also I just want to see whatever I taught you, if you still have it or you forgot it. So I'll have a small assessment. I'll give you some questions, you answer those questions, then I'll listen to some of your Quran. Okay, don't worry about the marking. Inshallah, everyone's going to pass. Yeah, I have high hope everyone's going to pass. I just want to see. And then it started today, and we should finish middle of March, inshallah. If we don't take any days off, we should finish middle of March, every Wednesday. Let's start this one. Okay, we know the makhraj. After we learned the makhraj, we started reading the Quran. So we started reading the Quran. Now we need to know how to stop. We can't just stop anyway. Okay, so imagine you're driving a car, you can't just stop anyway. There is some rules and regulations. Okay, that's how Quran is. When we stop in Quran, it's called waqf. Okay, in Arabic terms or in books, it's called waqf. Waqf means to stop. Wait, let me just get the highlighter. Yeah, waqf means to stop. It is necessary to renew your breath when you stop after waqf. So imagine we are reading قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. If we're going to stop in ahad, you have to renew your breath. If you don't want to stop, you can say قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ. Okay, you don't have to stop, but if you do stop, you have to renew your breath. You can't keep your breath and start the next verse. Okay, stopping the sound without renewing your breath is incorrect waqf, and is counted as sakta. What is sakta? We will do it I'll try to cover it in today's lesson. If not, we will do it next lesson. Sakta is different from waqf. Waqf is the normal stopping. When we stop, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, you take a new breath, Allahu Samad, you take a new breath. That's the right way of doing waqf, or that's the right way of stopping in Quran. If we stop, if we say قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, and I still have my same breath, and I say Allahu Samad, it's not called stopping, it's called sakta, and that's wrong. Okay, your namaz wouldn't break, but the niceness of the Quran goes. Okay, it's not lehna jali, it's lehna khafi. It's not the major mistake. So what do I do if I want to carry on? I say I read the last harka, the last vowel of the last letter. So I say قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ. Allahus samadu lam yalid wa lam yulad. Yeah, I have to say the last vowel and I carry on. I don't make it sakin. As soon as you make it sakin, it becomes a stop. I'll explain it from the Quran, inshallah. Okay, sakta, let's just ignore it for now. Later on, inshallah, I'll explain what sakta is. Okay, sakta is to stop the sound of your voice without drawing a breath, without renewing your breath. That's what sakta is. Okay, Prophet it comes, Ali radiallahu anhu, when he was explaining this verse from the Quran. This verse is in Surah Muzammil. أو زد عليه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا. Allah is telling Prophet ﷺ about Qiyamul Layl, about Tahajjud, and about praying Salah. And then he said this, وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا, and read the Quran in a measured way. Read the Quran nice and carefully. Don't rush. Don't rush when you're reading Quran, because these are Allah's words. Take your time and read it in a measured way. What does measured way mean? Ali radiallahu anhu, he explained this verse. I'm sure I did bring this verse in the first module when we were doing the introduction. Ali radiallahu anhu says, measured way means that you should know the makhraj of the letters and the knowledge of stopping. Because if you know the makhraj of the letters but you just stop in anywhere, that's wrong. And if it's the other way around, you know the stopping but you don't know the makhraj of the letters, so you're just going to mess everything up. All the full mouth, you're going to make it empty mouth. All the ikhfa, you're going to make it hard. So these two are the main knowledges. To know the tajweed of the letters, to know the makhraj of the letters, where exactly these letters come from. Are these full mouth or empty mouth letters? Am I going to do ikhfa or am I going to do izhar? Okay, that's one knowledge. What we done in the first 3 modules. So the first knowledge took us 3 modules, and the last knowledge of stopping will take us 1 module. Okay. So far, is it clear? Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay.
Yeah.
There is four ways when we read Quran and we stop the last letter. Okay, when it comes to stopping, remember one thing. When it comes to stopping, we only concentrate on the last letter. We don't. It's the last letter. It's the last letter we concentrate on. Yeah. We don't care what's before that. Nothing. Because we are stopping on the last letter. So what happens to the last letter? Does it stay fatha? Do I stretch? Do I make it a sakin? What do I do? So this is all about the last letter. So if someone is reading Quran and they have to stop, the stopping is going to become one of the 4. It's going to be in one of the 4 scenarios. Yeah. Number 1, I've explained that. I've explained it before, but I'll do it again. If I stop on 1 fatha, okay. Before I explain this, how many ways can fatha damma kasra come?
Six.
How many different forms? How many different forms actually? How many different forms? Not how many ways? How many different forms? 6. Brother Fahim, do you think it's 6 or do you think it's less than that?
I'm thinking 6 as well. In terms of...
Brother Amin, same?
Yeah, same here, Ustad.
MashaAllah, that's good. Yeah, we did do it. In Arabic, it can come 1 fatha, 1 kasra, 1 damma. 1 damma. Or 2 fatha, 2 kasra, and 2 damma. Yeah? Now, what we will do, we will take this one off. And we will color this different color. So 2 fatha will have blue. Okay. So I've explained it to you. If we are going to stop in one of these ways, the red ones, 1 fatha, 1 kasra, 1 damma, 2 kasra, 2 damma, okay, the last letter will always have a sakin. Can you remember I explained it to you, and I got the pictures of the Khayr and I explained it to you, okay? So fatha, kasra, damma. That's the 3 done. Double kasra, double damma. These are the 5 places. If you are going to stop and the last letter has one of these symbols, single fatha, single kasra, single damma, double kasra, double damma, we are going to stop with a sakin. Full stop, okay? Look at this. Ma aghna anhu maluhu wa ma kasab. Now then we are going to do qalqala because it's a ba, that's a different thing, okay? But what am I going to put on this letter when I stop? That's what we are concentrating about, okay? So we are going to, because there's a 1 single fatha, we're going to put a sakin. Uqad, tabbat uqad is قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد. It's meant to be uqadi. If you're going to carry on, you say uqadi, but because we stopped, it becomes uqad. Okay. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح, it becomes والفتح. Masad, tabbat yada, masad, 2 kasra becomes sakin, 2 dhamma in قل هو الله أحد becomes a sakin. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. If we took 5 of their scenarios off from the 6, what's left?
2 zabur.
2 zabur. What happens with 2 zabur? Let's see. Okay, 2 fatha. What happens with 2 fatha? Double fatha. Now, this is the rule of double fatha. That's why you're going to see in the Quran, whenever double fatha comes, what comes after double fatha?
Empty alif.
Empty alif. You'll see empty alif. There's only one letter, it wouldn't have an empty alif. We'll talk about the letter in scenario number 3. Okay, when you stop on that letter, what happens? Because, okay, we'll come to that letter, inshallah. What happens with 2 fatha? Now, 2 fatha, if the last letter has a double fatha, 2 fatha or 2 zabur, it will be changed into 1 fatha, and you will do stretching. Okay, don't worry about this now. For now, so 2 fatha. So let's draw 2 fatha. The bar has 2 fatha, and I have to stop. What happens? I take 1 fatha off. So instead of saying innahu kana tawwaban, instead of saying innahu kana tawwaban, I said innahu kana tawwaba. That's the reason there's always an empty alif after it, to tell you that if you're going to stop on me, you take 1 fatha off and you stretch me, because after 1 fatha there's an empty alif. That's one of the stretching rules. And if you're going to carry on, you say ban. Innahu kana tawwaban bismillahir rahmanir rahim. If you're going to stop, you say innahu kana tawwaba. Okay, same with this. Look at this one, 2-1. This doesn't have a empty alif after it. Sometimes it's got an empty alif, sometimes because of it doesn't have an empty alif, but it will have one of the silent letters. It will have alif, waw, or ya. Okay, it will have alif, waw, or ya. But majority of the time, it would have a alif. Okay, sometimes because that's how the Quran is written. That's how Usman radiallahu anhu, he compiled the Quran. Sometimes you'll get a ya, but it's okay. Don't worry. 2 fatha, you will make into a 1 fatha. So how would you say this word? Would you, if you stop, would you say 2-1 or would you say tuwa?
Tuwa.
Yeah, tuwa, done. Tuwa. Okay. There's only 1 letter in the Quran, in the whole Quran. Even though it's got 2 fatha, it will always become a sakin. Can you guess what the letter is? It is written on this page, but let me see if you can guess what the letter is.
Ta, innit? Ta.
It's not a normal ta. It's a round ta. This is a normal ta. This is, you can call it long ta, or you can call it a normal ta. Long ta, if it's got 2 fatha, it will be, what would I do? If the long ta has 2 fatha, do I make it into 1 fatha or do I make it into a sakin? I'll make it into 1 fatha. Yeah, long ta is 1 fatha. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. Okay, that's a long ta in لِإِلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ. But this is the round ta. It has its own rule all the way in the Quran. Remember one thing, round ta, if I'm going to stop on round, okay, actually let's go to the next slide, then I can explain it, because next slide is about round ta. Unless it's a round ta with 2 fatha, it will become a sakin. Just remember that. This is the 3rd scenario of stopping. Okay, so I'm reading, imagine I'm reading Surah Wal-Fajr. Irji'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyah. Okay, now the last letter is a round ta. What do I do now? The rule is here. If the last letter is a round ta, it will be changed into a ha. It would always be changed into a ha. Okay, so round ta, let me just show it to you here. Sorry. Okay. Round ta will always become a ha. Ha is the same as a ta. The only thing is missing. What's missing? It's just the 2 dots missing. So the round ta will always become a ha. and it will always become what? A sakin. Is that clear for everyone? So whenever you stop on a round ta, if you are going to carry on, it stays a ta. Okay, these rules are not about carrying on. These rules are about stopping. If you're going to carry on two fatha, it stays two fatha. If you're going to carry on one kasra, it stays one kasra. I'm talking about when we stop. These are the last letter, and we are stopping on that ta. What happens? The ta becomes a ha, and the ha will always have a sakin, regardless of one fatha, regardless of if the ha has one fatha or two kasra. Whatever the round ta has, it will always become a ha, and then you will put a sakin on it. So look at this. Okay, this is a mistake. This was meant to go here. So irji'i ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiyatan. Okay, if you look inside the Quran in Surah Al-Fajr, the last letter on this ta is meant to have a two fatha. So what do we do? Do we make it into one fatha or do we make it into a sakin?
Sakin.
Sakin. This is the only letter. If he's got two fatha, we don't care. It still becomes a sakin. The rest of the Arabic alphabet, they become one fatha. If it's two fatha, yeah? Okay, do I just make it sakin or do I do something else?
You make it a ha, isn't it?
You make it a ha, yeah. So my first example is wrong, yeah? I need to fix this. My first example, I shifted it around and I didn't make this into a ha. I kept it a ta. So let's just cross this off, okay? Let's go to the second example. Look, safaratin. Safaratin. What happened? I made that ta into a ha, and then I made it into a sakin. Is that clear?
Yeah, I was going to ask, does it matter if it's duzel or duzel? Or it doesn't matter. It still becomes a
doesn't, regardless of what it's got. If it's a round ta, this is the golden rule of round ta. If it's a round ta, the rule is if you are going to carry on, there's no question, you carry on. Okay? If you're going to stop, there's two things you have to do. Number one is you make it into a ha, and number two is you make it sakin. Okay? Regardless of one fatha, one kasra, one dhamma, two fatha, two kasra, two dhamma, he doesn't care. Okay? While the rest of the Arabic alphabet, they broke it into two groups. One group is if he's got one fatha, one kasra, one dhamma, two kasra, two dhamma, is in the first group. You make it into what? Sakin. And the second group is if he's got two fatha, what do you make it into?
Zabur.
Yeah, one fatha, yeah. So that's the rest of the alphabet. They are rule number one and rule number two. Rule number three, this one, rule number three, it's only for the round ta. Round ta will always become a ha and a sakin when you stop. Okay? Even though if he's stretching, it doesn't matter. Even if he's stretching or not. Look at this. ظهره. You are stretching, but when you stop, it becomes a sakin. يحسب أن ماله أخلده ويل لكل همزة لمزة. يحسب أن ماله أخلده. The ha has a upside down dhamma. But what do? When we stop with a sakin. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. If the last letter is already around ha, it will always be read with the sakin, regardless of the symbol. Yeah. So ta and ha, the rules are done. Brother Kibriya, should we carry on, or do you want me to go back to?
That's okay. Were you learning about
stopping?
Or something? Oh, okay, stopping. Okay.
Stopping. Okay. We are learning about stopping now. I'm just going to do it quickly, very, very briefly, and you can just go and catch up on the video. Inshallah, the video should be uploaded in 1 or 2 days by Friday. We are talking about waqf. So all this time we were learning the letters, how to pronounce the letters, if the letters full mouth or empty mouth. Now, alhamdulillah, we know how to do all that. Now we're going to learn about how to stop. So if we are reading the Quran, how do we stop on the letter? We can't just stop anyhow, yeah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا, and read Quran in a carefully and in a measured way. Okay? So Ali radiallahu anhu said that this ayah means that we should know the letters, tajweed of the letters, the makhraj of the letters, if they're full mouth or if the ikhfa is hard. Also, it's the knowledge about stopping. When Allah said measured, he means that you should know the letters properly and how to stop on those letters. Okay, so the first 3 modules we were concentrating on tajweed of the letters. This module we concentrate on the knowledge of stopping. When we stop on the letter, there's 4 scenarios we can stop on. Yeah. The first scenario is this one. You stop on one single fatha, one single kasra, one single dhamma, two kasra, 2 dhamma. They will always become a sakin. I've explained it in module number 3. Okay. The next one. Okay. What's left? If I've done these 5, what's left? Can you see anything missing? Can you see this one missing? So 2 fatha. Let's go and do the rule of 2 fatha. 2 fatha will become 1 fatha, and you will stretch it. That's why after 2 fatha, there is always an empty alif. Is to say that if you carry on, don't worry about me, but if you're going to stop, you have to stretch me. That's why there's always a empty alif after 2 fatha. If you go to the Khayr, you're going to see where they teach you 1 fatha, 1 kasra, 1 dhamma. When it comes to 2 fatha, let me just go and show you the picture. Okay, it's not going to come. Okay. Okay, can you see? Okay, now can you see? Let's look at this. 1 fatha, 1 kasra, 1 dhamma. It doesn't have the alif. 2 kasra, 2 dhamma. It doesn't have the alif. 2 fatha has the alif after it. Okay, is to say that when you stop, you have to stop with the sakin. You have to stop with the stretching. Let's go back to our slides. Okay. Okay. Then the third scenario of the third way of the third place where we can stop is it can be a ranta. Ranta, it has its own rule. If you are going to stop on a ranta, it will always become a ha. So the ranta will always become a ha, and then it will have a sakin. Okay. We are not talking about the long ta. The long ta stays. The long ta's rule is in the rule number 1 and rule number 2. If he's got 1 fatha, 1 kasra, 1 dhamma, it becomes a sakin. If he's got 2 fatha, it becomes 1 fatha. Okay, this is talking about the ranta. The next one, the last one is quite straightforward. Sakin. If the letter already has a sakin, we don't have to worry about it because it's already got a sakin. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. Okay. When we go to the Quran, I'll show it to you. Lam yalid wa lam yulad. The last letter of the dal is already got a sakin. We just keep it sakin. Simple. What happens if it's a stretching? If the last letter is a stretching, we keep it stretching. We don't touch it. So look at this. You know, in the Quran, there's a lot of time you're going to see Musa, 𝗃 𝗵𝗁 وموسى in �سَبِّحِ اسْمَ رَبِّكَ الْأَعْلَى. And then you're going to see a lot of time you're going to see stretching. If it's stretching, we keep it stretching. And if it's sakin, we keep it sakin. So if the last letter is stretching, we keep it stretching. If the last letter is sakin, we keep it sakin. If there, okay, we'll cover that later. I've done this, and it will remain without any changes. If the last letter has a shadda on it, it will be read with a sakin, but with an emphasis. Don't worry about the slight stretch. That's wrong. It will be read with emphasis to indicate towards a shadda. So as I said to you before, we don't say tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. No, we say watab. Okay, we don't say watabba. If we say watabba, we are reading the shadda. But when we stop, we don't read the shadda. So we're gonna stop with the sakin, but we're just gonna put a bit more emphasis than a normal sakin to show that this is originally a shadda. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ. Haqq. We don't say haqq and stop. We have to bounce the voice a bit, okay, to show that we are stopping on a shadda. We don't say tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. We don't say watab and we stop. We say watab like that. Yeah. Ujurahunna. So when we stop on a shadda, we don't read the shadda, but we just indicate there is a shadda there. Okay. Instead of saying watabba, we say watab. Okay. So far, is it clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The four. When we go to the Quran, I'm gonna point all of them out, inshallah. Now, let's go to this part. Now, what happens if you stop? If you stop at the end of a verse, it's okay. But imagine you're reading a very long verse and you stopped. And now what do we do? Your breath was finishing. Okay, you had to take a new breath. You had to renew your breath. Now what do we do? No. Okay, waqf rules will apply whenever you stop to take a breath while reciting the Quran, whether that is at the end of the ayah or middle of the ayah. However, waqf cannot happen in the middle of a word. Okay, we should try to stop at the end of a word. We should try our best to stop on a circle. Do you know where the circles are? Ayah. Okay, these are made for you to stop and renew your breath. But imagine there is a very long verse. We should at least try to say the whole word. So something like this. We should say Musa and stop. We shouldn't stop at mu. It doesn't mean anything. Okay, try to stop at the end of that word, even though there's so much still left. But say the word and stop. Don't say lihaya and stop. Okay. You will only pick it up if you know the language. Otherwise, you wouldn't know what's the end of a word. What's a word, and what's, like, sometimes the words are so long. They've got 6, 7 letters. Some words they only have 2 letters. So it's just practice. You learn it. But remember, our main thing is when we read Quran, we should try to stop on the circles. Ayah. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad. That's why there is a circle there. But sometimes the verses are so long. Okay, if the verse is so long, we stop in the middle of a verse, but not middle of a word. Middle of the verse at the end of a word. Stopping for a short pause. Okay. Now imagine someone is reading. If the reciter needs to pause recitation, they may stop at the end of any word in an ayah. Okay. However, we must remember we cannot stop in the middle of a word. It's just repeated from the last one. Any pause must be made according to the above stopping rules. Okay. If you stop on if you stop on 2 fatha, if the ba has 2 fatha and you stop, what do you do, Brother Imran? There is a ba and it's got 2 fatha and we had to stop. It said any pause must be made according to the above stopping rules. So the ba has 2 fatha. How do we stop?
Do you remove one of the fatha?
Brother Imran, I'm going to ask everyone a question. So this is Brother Imran's question.
Oh, sorry. Is it my question or someone else?
Yes. Brother Imran.
Okay, how do you stop?
Yeah. So
if there's
so you are stopping here to innahu kana tawwaban, and any pause must be made according to the above rules. So how would you stop here?
Innahu kana tawwaba.
What do you do to the bar?
So I take one zabar off.
One fatha off. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Brother Amin, sorry. Here. Okay. Lahabin wamra'atuh. So imagine we had to stop on lahabin. How would we stop? Brother Amin.
Remove one of the kasras and then Sorry, Ustad, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me, Ustad?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, you know the two. You know the two. You'll remove one of the kasras and just keep the one.
Are you sure?
Lahabi.
Do you say lahabi or lahab?
Lahab.
Okay, let's go back to this rule again. This one. What do you do?
So you just remove what you move it into you remove one of the
not one
kasras and you change it.
You don't remove any kasra. You just make it into a sakin. Okay.
So just make it.
Yeah. Remember one thing. These 5. If the last letter has one of these 5, they will automatically become a sakin. We don't remove anything. We only remove on the on this one. 2 fatha. Yeah. So anything is got 2 fatha, we make into 1 fatha. If it doesn't have 2 fatha, we'll make into a sakin. One fatha, one kasra, one dhamma,
Okay.
two kasra, two dhamma, it becomes a sakin. I'm going to ask you another question, but not now. Let me just ask Brother Fahim.
Mhm.
Brother Fahim,
Okay.
Brother Fahim. Musa. How would I stop? Do I say Moose, Musa, Musan? What do I say?
Okay, because there's a ya at the end, and with the alif, it's a slight stretching. So you would say Musa.
Yeah, stretching, stage stretching. If the
Yeah.
last letter is stretching, it stays stretching. Okay.
Yeah.
Brother Kibya, shall I ask you because you joined in the middle of the lesson?
Yeah, I'll try. Inshallah.
Okay, Bismillah. Okay, Brother Kibriya, I'll ask you this if you know it. Okay, I'm not going to write any verse, but I'm just going to say imagine the last letter was a round ta with one fatha. Now, what do I do? I kept it easy. I didn't put two fatha because it gets a bit complicated. The round ta has one fatha. What do I do?
So it should sound like a. So when you pause on the ta marbuta, it sounds like a ha.
MashaAllah, it becomes a ha. Very good. It becomes a ha. And what do I do? So the ta becomes a ha. Very good. What about the fatha? Do I keep it a fatha or do I make it into something else?
Sukun.
MashaAllah. Very good. Okay, done. MashaAllah. That's good. Okay. That's good. And then we will do some practical examples from the Quran. Okay. After a pause in the middle of the ayah, the reciter must resume the recitation from one or two words before the word on which he stopped. Okay. So if you're reading a very long verse and you stopped because you had to renew your breath, you don't start from where you stopped. You start from one or two words before. So we know what you're talking about, unless you stopped on a circle. If you stopped on a circle, you start from the next word. But if you stopped at the middle of a word, there was a long ayah and you stopped in the middle, you have to read one or two words before and you have to start. Okay. Stopping symbols. What are the symbols of stopping? Stopping symbols for a short pause. There are many different stopping symbols in the Quran. However, to keep it easy, I just got few. But in the next slide, I've got few more for you lot to just study. And there's another slide after that. What is this? What is this one? Who recognizes this one, the first one?
Yeah, so sometimes he says some Arabic letters inside there. You have to stop at the end of the ayah one.
Yeah. This is the end of the ayah. Inside, it wouldn't say in Arabic letters. It would say Arabic numbers. Okay. This one, inside this, so if there's a circle like this, it would say maybe 1 and 2. It means that this is the verse number 12 of the surah. Okay. So it would say Arabic numbers inside, but don't worry about what's inside. As long as there's a circle, this is you are allowed to stop there, or you should stop there to renew your breath. Yeah. You'd rather stop there and take a new breath rather than stopping in the next verse in the middle to take a breath. So imagine you're saying, Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tabba ma aghna, and now you have to renew your breath. What was the point? You could have just stopped at Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tabba. Yeah. Why are you saying Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tabba ma aghna and then you lost your breath? When Allah made it legal for you to stop on wa tab. Okay. So let's try our best to stop on all the circles, unless it's so small. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu samad. You can read the whole surah in one breath, but still we should not rush and read the Quran. Okay, that's done. So the first symbol is, well, the ayah symbol. Recommend is stop. We should stop. There's another one, la. La in Arabic. What does la mean in Arabic? Everyone who doesn't know anything about Arabic, they'll at least know two words, na'am and la. They know yes and no. Okay, everyone. So na'am means yes and la means no. So whenever you see the word la, it means you don't stop. If you stop, you're changing the meaning. There's two verses, they are connected together. and there's a line between. Why did they write the la? They could have just connected it. Allah knows. Okay, when they compiled the Quran, why they wrote the la? That's a different subject, and it takes you months to study. Yeah, Rasmul Khat. Why is Quran written like this? Why are all the symbols inside? Why is it that sometimes you have a long fatha and sometimes you have two fatha with the alif? Yeah. How come the Quran is written in different format? Why is it? That's a different knowledge. Yeah, I'm not going to go into that. Otherwise, we can't finish this module. But la, remember, la in Arabic means no, so we don't stop. Anytime we see a la, we carry on. Mim. That's the only two letters you have to remember. Lam and mim. Lam means you don't stop, and mim means you have to stop. Okay, mim means waqf lazim. You have to stop. So you're reading, suddenly you see a meme, you stop, and then you start from here. You read in, you see a la, you don't stop. You keep carrying on. You carry on. Yeah. Is that okay for them? So far, am I good or?
Yes.
Okay. Let's keep it till there because I don't want to give you too much information and then we don't get anywhere. We'll concentrate on these three today. Okay. The bottom two, we'll do that inshallah next week, or if there's any time, we'll do it at the end of the next lesson. Okay, the next slide, because I know a lot of people are going to say, okay, so the teacher just taught us lam and mim. But what about the qaf and the sad and the jim and all that? Just take it like this. Lam and mim are the most two important ones. If there's a lam, we don't stop. Wait, let me just get the highlighter. If there's a lam, we don't stop. If there's a mim, we stop. Compulsory, yeah? Beside that, the rest of them, sorry, I'm getting too much. Beside that, the rest of them like ta, this one, all this, it's up to you. If you want to stop, you stop. If you want to carry on, you carry on. They are there like a checkpoint. If you want to renew your breath, you'd rather stop on those instead of stopping in the middle of a word. Okay? The only two things we have to concentrate on is lam and mim. Okay, Brother Imran, what does lam mean? If there's a lam alif, what would I do?
If there's a lot, what the lam that we were learning about,
if there's a lam alif, do I stop?
You don't.
Yeah,
No, you don't.
I don't. Remember, Arabic, la means no. Brother Amin, mim, what do I do?
Compulsory stop, you can stop.
Compulsory stop. Okay, we should stop. Okay, and the rest of them is up to you. If you want to stop, you can stop. If not, there are some other ones, sakta. Okay, the short pause without renewing your breath. I'll talk about that next lesson, inshallah. This one is called mu'anaqa. Mu'anaqa means you have a choice. There's going to be one verse, two verse, and three verse. Mu'anaqa comes like this in the middle. So you have a choice to join these two or join these two. You can't read separate. You have to either join 1 and 2 or 2 or 3. Yeah. We will do that inshallah next lesson. This one, who recognizes this ayn? This is ruku. This is ruku. Sometimes on top of a circle you'll see an ayn. It's a ruku. That's how. It's nothing important. If you're going to do tarawih or something like that, it's easy to remember. Every juz has about 20 rukus, so it's easy to remember where to stop in your ruku when you go to ruku. Yeah. If you don't want to stop, you don't have to stop. Some people they read tarawih by page. Some people read by small few lines. But this is like a good checkpoint they made. If you want to do tarawih in one juz only has about 20 rukus. Okay. Okay, the next one. Okay, this is for your own knowledge. This is for your own knowledge. So if you don't want to sit down and practice this, it's all there. The next one is the traffic light. Okay. Mim means we have to stop. Mim is the red light. Mim means we must stop. and lam means we don't stop. Okay, and the rest of them, you don't see this much. You wouldn't see this much. You would see this jim a lot. Jim means it's jim and ta. Jim and ta. It's up to you. You want to carry on or you can stop. But the only two things you have to remember is la and mim. Lam, alif, and mim. For now, that's enough for now, I think. Yes, I'll do next week. I'll still go over this part, index of symbols, and I'll go over the traffic light, and I'll go over sakta, inshallah. Let me just go to Quran and let me just show you some of the symbols before we start reading surahs. Any questions, or is it good? Why is
No, alhamdulillah.
my Quran coming up? Okay. If it doesn't come up, we will go to no. Okay. Yeah. Can everyone see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A bit small.
Do you know this lam alif I was talking about? If the lam alif comes on top of the circle, we stop. The lam alif we don't stop in is, imagine here there was a lam alif here. We don't stop, okay? Because you see, if the lam alif comes in the middle of the word, we don't stop. But if it's on top of the circle, anything on top of the circle is more stronger. So if there's a circle, we always stop on the circle to renew our breath. Is that okay? And there's an ayn here. It means ruku. What we done. So imagine you're reading this. قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. If you stop, you stop. If you don't stop, you say firuna. To say the noon. La a'budu. Okay. What's better? If I say قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ and I stop, is that better? Or if I say قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ لَا أَعْبُدُ, what's better?
If we stop.
If I stop here, that's why they're stopping. If you want to carry on, you try to do it till here. Okay. Right now, imagine I said la a'budu and I stopped. Do I carry on ma ta'budun, or I have to say la a'budu again?
La abudu again. Yeah.
I have to say la a'budu again. So if I'm going to say la a'budu again, I should have just stopped here, because if I stop here, then I say la a'budu anyway. Yeah. Now, la a'budu ma ta'budun. If you want to renew your breath, you stop on end of the word. You don't stop in the middle. You don't say la a'budu ma ta'budu, and then you say ma ta'budun. No, try to drag your breath till the end of the word, not middle of the word, because once you break the word, the word doesn't mean anything. Okay, and sometimes it can change the meaning, and your namaz can break. You can't see those juz amma. This juz amma sifara is only got small surahs, so we can't really practically see what the long verses are. If you want to see long verses, go to the beginning of the Quran. You're going to see that sometimes the verses are so long, it's like it covers 2-3 lines. And reading 2-3 lines in one breath is hard. So when we stop, try to stop at the end of a word. So at least we've made that word make sense. Otherwise, if you chop it in half, it doesn't make any sense. Okay. What was the last surah we done?
في سورة فاتحة قل هو الله.
Sorry, class.
We done surah قل هو الله and قل أعوذ بالفلق, yeah? And the week before that we done surah Nas and surah Fatiha. Is that okay? Is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I will do today is I will just cover surah 𝗃𝗵𝗀, and then inshallah next week I'm going to listen to this. Okay. أعوذ بالله. Does everyone have the Quran on them? I was meant to listen to Ikhlas and Surah Falaq today, but inshallah I'll listen to next week, because next week we've got less to there's less lessons next week. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله
من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Remember here, it's got a shadda. We are not going to read the shadda, but we would make a sakin and just put some emphasis on it. Okay. So tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab.
تبت
تبت
يدا
يدا
أبي
أبي لهب وتب.
Remember, this is the ha. This ha is not, this is a stronger ha. It's not laha. It's not a soft ha. It's a ha. Tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab.
تبت
يدا أبي لهب وتب.
Yeah. And we are going to make this long, yada and tabbat yada abi lahabin wa tab. Yeah, this is long as well. ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب.
ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب.
Okay. ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب.
ما أغنى عنه ماله وما كسب.
وما كسب. Okay. أغنى. Why did I mark the blue in أغنى?
Probably because some read it with empty mouth, it's a full mouth letter, I don't know.
There. It is a full mouth letter. It's one of the full mouth letters. And a lot of times someone speakers on. Yeah. And a lot of time this is read with it's not full mouth. It's not made full mouth. So we should try to make it full mouth. Anhu maluhu. Remember the ha. It's got an upside down dhamma, so we have to make it long. It's not a normal dhamma. وَمَا كَسَبَ. The bar, I've put a blue mark on it to say that when you make this bar when you stop on this bar, it becomes a sakin. And what do we do on a bar with a sakin?
قلقلة.
Stop on
Qalqala, yeah.
Qalqala, yeah.
Qalqala, perfect. سيصلى نارا ذات لهب.
سيصلى
نارا ذات لهب.
سيصلى نارا ذات لهب.
سيصلى نارا ذات لهب.
Okay. I need everyone to read it together, please. سيصلى نارا ذات لهب.
سيصلى نارا ذات لهب.
Lahab, the ha is a ha. It's the same as this one. Lahab, this one. Okay? It's the same. Yeah, lahab, ha, not ha. Okay, sayasla. Ya is full mouth. Sorry, ya is empty mouth, but the sad is full mouth. Sometimes to make the sad full mouth, the ya ends up being full mouth. That's wrong. It's not sayasla. It's saya. Ya. Sayasla. Nara dhata. What rule did we do here? After nun sakinatan, the letter dhal came. What do we do?
إخفاء.
Ikhfa, mashallah. Dhata. Is it zata or dhata? Dhata. It's not the letter after ra. If it's the letter after ra is a za, but this is a dhal. Okay? Sayasla nara dhata lahab. This ha is a stronger ha. Same as this one, same as the top one, and the bar has a sakin. So what do we do?
قلقلة again.
قلقلة.
Yeah. وامرأته.
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 Yeah. Ra is full mouth, and the ha becomes what? The ha becomes a sakin. Yeah, because it's the ha.
Yeah.
Even though it's a stretching, but because it's ha, it will always become sakin. Round tie and ha will always become sakin. Yeah. Okay. حمالة الحطب.
حمالة الحطب. حمالة الحطب
حمالة الحطب
حمالة الحطب
حطب قلقلة.
الطب.
Okay, yeah. And what happens in this meme? Meme has a shad.
It's like gunna, isn't it?
Gunna.
This is Gunna.
What's the other letter? If it's got a shadda, we do gunna.
Noon.
No, mashallah. This ta, this round ta, is it full mouth or empty mouth?
Empty mouth.
Empty.
If you try to make it full, it becomes a ta. Hammalata. What about this one?
The full
The
mouth.
full mouth.
Yeah. And what do we do in the ba? On the ba?
قلقلة.
Qalqala. So let me just read this verse again. وَامْرَأَتُهُ. Here. وَامْرَأَتُهُ.
وامرأته
وامرأته
حمالة الحطب.
حمالة الحطب.
These two are soft, yeah? Okay. في جيدها حبل من مسد.
في جيدها حبل من مسد.
في جيدها حبل من مسد.
في جيدها
حبل من مسد.
Okay. What's the red? Remember, there's a ha here and there's a ha here. Okay. We have to make this one strong. We have to make this one soft. Fi jidiha. Sometimes both of them become strong. Sometimes both of them end up becoming soft. But the first one has to be strong, and the second one is soft. Fi jidiha hablum min masad. So this needs to get practice. And the ba, what happens in the ba?
قلقلة.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We'll just keep it to one surah today. Just go and practice this surah and surah Ikhlas, Qul huwallahu ahad, and surah Falaq, Qul a'udhu bil falaq. We'll practice all these three surahs, and inshallah next week, as soon as I've done Sakta, I will just listen to everyone's these three surahs. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions? Any questions? Or
No,
it's good?
Jazakallah.
جزاك الله.
Okay then. Okay. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام.